దీనికి సార్ వాచ్ లేదండి ఉంది. వాచ్ లేదా ఇది?
వాచ్
క్లాక్ లేదా?
క్లాత్ లోపల ఉండాలి మరి చూస్తున్నా ఎక్కడ
అందులో పెట్టాను
చూస్తారా అంటే
I know the time, it's about 11:58.
here.
The time is 11:58 right now.
అది చేస్తాను ఓకే
No, that's okay. 11:59, so
we'll start exactly at 12 and then we are right on time.
You want in front of you?
No, that's fine. Okay. Actually, I think many of you, all of you know me before you saw me before. It looks like today is very, very fulfilling and memorable day in my life, in my spiritual life, because this is the day that I have been looking for after I started my spiritual journey. And this is the big day for me because this is the day, the Mahayagna that I started in April, and I am going to complete it and fulfill it. I am completing the last discourse of Bhagavad Gita, started from the very first one. And I am very grateful to Tarun Gupta ji and Aradhana ji for hosting this event, which I will never forget in my life, and which I will be ever grateful to you for this wonderful occasion. With this, we will start the second half of the 18th chapter. So it has, because of the length of the chapter, we have divided discourses on this chapter into two discourses. So we completed up to 39 in the last sitting, and we are going to do the second half from 40 to 78 in this sitting. So I have 1.5 hour time to complete everything. So I will try my best to do that. So because I would like to connect the first half of that 18th chapter to the second half of the second chapter. So in my attempt. So when this 18th chapter started, with Arjuna's question to Lord Krishna about two things. After he had 17 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the Arjuna got two words went into their heart, mind and soul. 2 points, 2 words. Number 1 is sannyasa. Second word is tyaga. Sannyasa and tyaga. But when we look those words superficially, both those words look the same. Sannyasa and tyaga look the same. But during the teachings of Lord Krishna for the 17 chapters, Lord Krishna says they are not the same, but they are different. And before he concludes this Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks one final time to refresh the knowledge about these two terminologies of sannyasa and tyaga. But when we look superficially, tyaga and sannyasa look the same. But when we go deep into it, they are quite opposite. Look same, that is the fun here. The two words which look the same or go inside, they are quite opposite. Tyaga is giving up. Giving up something is called tyaga. So when we have a bad habit, we will tyaga that bad habit. Giving up something is tyaga. You have ahankara. Giving up that ahankara or ego is called tyaga. And then sannyasa means, so whenever you say, Swamiji, if you go to Swamiji, he says, I have taken sannyasa on so and so year. So sannyasa is something to take, and tyaga is something to give up. So one is give and another one is take. In this way, both of them are opposite. So what the sannyasi take and what a sannyasi give up? See, sannyasi give up the egoism and attachment to the world, and then he goes take up the voyage or journey towards the divinity. So giving up the world and going towards the God is, first half is tyaga and second half is sannyasa. So nyasa, the literal meaning of nyasa, if you go to a dictionary, nyasa means to hold on, karanyasa. So you hold your hand in certain way. So nyasa means hold on. Sannyasa means to hold on to God is sannyasa. That's what the sannyasi does. That's what Swami Bodhananda does. Always thinking about Swami, Lord, talking about God, doing things to God. Always he holds on to that. And he does tyaga the world and live in a hermitage. So that is the difference from the tyaga and the sannyasa. So here, when he comes to the 40th sloka, to explain this further in depth, the sannyasa and tyaga, he wants to bring something else to explain it further. Those things that he wants to bring, the three things in, those are nothing but the three qualities that everything that in this universe has, whether it is a thing, whether it is a being, it is all made up of three qualities. What are those qualities are? Sattva guna, Rajo guna, and Tamo guna. These are the three qualities that has to have for any being or anything to exist in this universe. Sattva means more detached and more pure. And Tama means most impure and most dull in activity. Rajas is in the middle. So to explain this, I want to take an example of H2O. Because I don't want to go into very, very deep into spirituality because we are not there. So we are talking about regular world and take the examples from the science and all those things for us to understand it better. That will be more useful. So let us take H2O. Same H2O, you all know what is H2O, it's water. So if you take H2O, that H2O can have three qualities. What are those three qualities? Vapor, water, and the ice. All H2O only. H2O, vapor, water, and the ice. What is vapor? The same H2O molecules are a little bit more free, very distant from each other, and their more purest form of water is water vapor. That's how they manufacture this water. They evaporate it and then they collect it in this to get a more purified water. So the more purest form of water is water vapor, which is like a sattvic form of H2O. And at the same time, if you go to the ice, water molecules are very much clustered, a lot of attachment in there in the ice. A lot of attachment, very closely, that's called a water. So this is called a tamasic nature of H2O, for an example. And because it may not satisfy all the qualities of tamas, just to understand. And in the middle, we have water. Water, wherever is always active, wherever this thing is always be flowing, that would be like a rajasic. So same water, H2O molecule, can be there in a rajasic mode, in a sattvic mode, in a tamasic mode, like that. So we're talking about a thing, but the Lord says not only things, in every being, these three qualities are there. Rajasic, tamasic, and sattvic qualities. Sattvic means very pure and fresh thoughts and behavior is sattvic. Rajasic is always being active, and tamasic is very dull, like a drunken person. So in the same day, we all experience those three qualities. As soon as get up in the morning, you feel fresh. So you are in a sattvic mode. And after you start to go to office, you are always running up to 4 o'clock. So you got into the rajasic mode. And you get tired and home, and you get tired and sleepy, and you are getting into tamasic mode. So like this, even the one person gets shift from one mode to the other, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So not only in the person, even every human being that are there here are made up of predominantly one quality out of these, whether rajasic, sattvic, and tamasic. And Lord bring in the society to explain these sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic qualities. So in this society, he divides the society into 4 groups. What are those? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, and Sudra. So every society has to have 4 kinds of groups of people for the society to function. Suppose a country is there. A Brahmana should be there. Who is Brahmana? Brahmana are the intellectuals. We have to give advices how to run the country and what are the good things to do. The intellectuals. And Kshatriya is the policeman or military and to this thing. Those are the Kshatriya. We need that for running a country. Then Vaisya, all the businessmen, all the productions, all the communities, commodities, all this we need a Vaisya to run the country. And at the same time, everybody is doing, who will be doing the Sudra work and cleaning the roads and doing the service job and although doing the service, these are also needed to run the country. So these four types of people are needed in this country. That is what Lord talks about Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Sudra. And how can we label them? How these 4 different groups of people are formed? They are formed by their internal nature that has come from their birth or their parents, or they from the last birth, or from the society where they have grown up, and they will gradually get their characters and they become one of those. So it is their nature that make them, whether a person is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Sudra. So it gets out of their nature. So how do we decide who is Brahmana, who is Kshatriya, who is Vaisya, and who is Sudra? Say, Brahmana is not a Brahmin that is born to a Brahmana. That's not what God says here. So it does not go by your parents. It depends upon what you do, that is make you whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, and Sudra. So to find out what is his personality, God gave certain characters of the each person. And what does Kshatriya, Brahmana's characters? Brahmana's characters, number 1 is 42, Samaha. Sama means he controls his senses. And he has a control over his senses. For example, a diabetic is there. He should not eat sugar. And he will tell his wife, okay, there is no more sugar in the home. I want to live without sugar. And he lives without sugar for almost a month. And he controlled his tongue and he lives without sugar. So he has a loss of Sama. He is one of the characters of the Brahmana that should have. So the second character of thing is Dhamma. What is Dhamma? That the same person who had in a very good control for 1 month in his home, that there is no sugar in the home, goes to a party. There is a lot of sweets are there in front of them, tempting him to eat. But he becomes Brahmana if we can control the temptations when that is there right in front of them, and he says, I don't eat, I have it, then he is the Brahmana character. Then we say he has Dhamma. First one is Sama and next one is Dhamma. So he cannot control it, okay, for today only, let me eat it, and his sugar will go and become 500 at home. So he does not have Dhamma. So if he can control it, he has Sama, and he has Dhamma. How that thing comes then? The Brahmana will also have austerity. When he gets up in the morning, he has a regular lifestyle, how it goes, what he does. As soon as he gets up, what he does, Surya Namaskar, and he will do Sandhya Vandana, or all kinds of rituals. He has some disciplined life from the way time he gets up, and from the type, he has austerity, a disciplined life, that is Brahmana. And he has pure inside his heart, not only in the body, in the mind and heart, he always have a purified thoughts. And he also nature of forgiveness. If something happens, somebody does to him, he always gives the forgiveness. That is the nature of the Brahmana. And he also have uprightness, and that means straightforwardness. He speaks whatever there in his mind, he speaks outright the same thing. And he had a lot of wisdom, and he uses his intellect more than his mind. That's why he become more intellectual. And he always believes in Almighty and God, and all these characters makes a person Brahmana, not a caste make a person Brahmana, but all these characters makes a Brahmana. That is 42. Samo damas tapas saucham Shanti Rajyavam evacha Gnanam Vignanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. Next he talks about what is the Kshatriya's characters, kings and Shidka. And he says, Sauryam tejo dhrutirdakshyam yuddhe chapya palayanam danam isvara bhavascha kshatram karma swabhavajam. A king or a kshatriya will have sauryam, power. And he also has tejaha, splendor. So, you know, wherever the king is there, in olden kings, they have a kirita, crown, which is the symbol for sauryam. And in the back of the kirita, there would be a small ring kind of thing in the back. That denotes tejaha. So, they have both power and also they have that, what we call charisma. That's the word that we use. They have a charisma when they come. That's what Modi has. Modi won just because of the charisma. And that's why the Kshatriya. Even though Modi was to become a Brahmana in his childhood, then his real nature is Kshatriya. And that's the reason he could become a prime minister. And what he had, the charisma he got, and that is called tejaha. And dhruti, firmness. If he wants to do something, he will do it whatever it costs. Whenever he wanted to do the demonetization of the money in India, everybody criticized him. We will throw you out of your seat. He says, I don't care what you do. I wanted to do it, I do it, and I will do it, and he did it. That kind of firmness a Kshatriya will have. And he also have a skill that is dexterity. And he has a lot of skill that he wants to. And also one more very important thing of the Kshatriya is apalayanam. So whenever a problem comes, he will never run away from the problem. That is the real Kshatriya. So here he did, whenever a Kshatriya goes to a war, if he is about to be killed, he will not go back and run away to escape himself, what Arjuna was doing in the first chapter. So that is not the nature of the Kshatriya. He will stand still, he will do or die, but never show his back to his enemy. That kind of attitude is the nature of the Kshatriya. Apalayanam. So these are only not, these are somewhat he's saying, and when he comes to his public, his two people, he is so generous. And he is so generous. We see the kings, and they have all these haras. When somebody does a good job, then they take out one hara, okay, take it. And if another was a good dance, somebody comes and good dance, he'll take another golden hara, take it out, take it. So a person who is Kshatriya have that kind of generosity. And also he feels that lordship, okay, among his people. All these kinds of qualities make a Kshatriya not to a person who born to a Kshatriya parents is not Kshatriya. So the characters, that inborn characters make one person Kshatriya, not by his heritage or from the way he was born, in which family he was born. Then he is coming to 44, he is coming to the Vaisya. What is the Vaisya's character? That is 44. Krusi goraksha vanijyam Vaisya karma swabhavajam. And a Vaisya, what he will do is, a Vaisya do an agriculture. And normally, an agriculturalist are not considered as Vaisyas, normally in our society. But agriculturist is also a Vaisya because he is a producer. So all these people, all this Ratan Tata or everything, and everybody, all this Microsoft people and everybody, they are all Kshatriyas. Because they are producers, they are the producers. And all these agricultures, or cattle bearers, or poultry, or animal husbandry, all these people. So that means what? They live on that and they will sell it to somebody and make money out of the matter, and they make living. And this type of people is called as Kshatriyas. Vaishya. And agriculture, cattle breeding. And these are the duties of the Vaishyas. And the last one is called Paricharyatmakam Karma Sudrasyapi Swabhavayam. And service work. Whenever you do a direct service work to the people, those are nothing but Sudras. Based upon this definition, being a physician, I consider myself as Sudra. That's what I do. Directly do the service to the people. So I am proud to say, being a physician, I am a Sudra, because that's what I do. So these are the characters. So Sudra is not a down, neglected, very bad or low grade people in the society. So that is the greatness in US that we can learn from this country. We always say India is a great country and their West is very bad. And India is always good. We always tell to our kids, hey, you learn all the Indian habits. Hey, don't learn any American habits. There are so many things in America there where you can learn from. How do we treat our fourth class people in India? And how we treat? If we get a servant maid to your home, how respectably you treat? If somebody cleans your lavatories, how respectably you treat? You call them as sir, please come. How can I help you? Are you comfortable in the home? How respectably we treat? So it is not but how we treat in India. So there's something we can learn from that's the reason I always say, there's a good in the East, there's a good in the West. There's a bad in the East, there is a bad in the West. If you take good from both East and West, you will become the best. And if you take the bad from the East and the West, and you will become the worst. And that's how we can learn. So what Lord Krishna says is, all these have come by the nature that He have given to you, not to get respected or disrespected one person to the other. That's why He explained. Now we are moving forward to the 45th one. But after explaining, after finding out who is Vaishya, who is Brahmana, who is Kshatriya, who is Sudra, if I have a question, who is the most closest to the God? Who appears to us? It appears to us God likes Brahmanas more, right? That's what the way He explained the things. He is a very serene, and he have a sama, he have a dhamma, he is very pure, he has a forgiveness, he has always straightforwardness. These are good qualities. It looks like the Brahmana is the closest to the God and the Sudra is the farthest from the God. So, to the God, these are like serially connected. The Sudra should become Vaishya if you want to go to God, and Vaishya should become Kshatriya, and Kshatriya to become Brahmana, and Brahmana will reach the God. So this is the way the path? These wives are serially connected? Or they are parallelly connected? Directly Sudra goes to God, directly Vaishya go to God, and directly Kshatriya go to God, and directly Sudra go to God. These are so those who might have studied electricity can understand. Serial connection and a parallel connection. Serial connection is A to connect to B, B to connect to C, like that. Parallel connection is everything connected separately to the B. And Lord says, that is not the way you think. Everyone can directly go to the God without becoming the other one. A Sudra can directly go to the God. And a Vaishya can directly go to the god, and Kshatriya can directly go to the god, and Brahmana also go to the god. In the same way, the other three does. And that's what he says. Yala, how do you do that? How can they do that? Sve sve karmanya bhirataha samsiddhim labhate naraha swakarma niratak siddhim yadha vindati tachruno. A man devoted in his duty gets perfection. Whether you do the Kshatriya work, if you do that duty as a perfect Kshatriya, that is the way you can reach the God. If you are a Sudra, if you do that Sudra work perfectly, you can directly reach the God. In the same way, everybody does his duty perfectly, he will go to the God. But that is a statement. But Arjuna wants some explanation. How that happens? How just by doing our work perfectly we reach the God? Wait, Arjuna. I am going to explain about that in our next slokas. And 46. And a person does his duty. That means I am working as a physician. I go to the office. When I go to the office, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy my work from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And then I come home. But when I do that, I always don't think about my paycheck that is going to come after 2 weeks. I will do my work forgetting about the result that is going to give sometime in the future. You concentrate on what you do. Suppose if somebody planted a tree and come the next a seed, and to see whether it has come up or not, next day morning he will go and think where it is there. Oh, it has not grown up. Again he put it again. And he goes again, and where is it? He do this again and again, he put it back again. So it will never come. So he has to wait, and it has to take its time for the fruit to come out of the flower. So that means if you do what you are doing, and if you enjoy what you are doing, and forgetting about the result, and if you enjoy what you do, that means that you are doing your work up to the perfection. And that means what you call it as karma phala sannyasa. I mean giving up. And that is, you don't worry about karma phala tyaga. That is called as karma phala tyaga. Don't worry about the result. Do what you have to do. Enjoy your work. That itself gives you bliss. That bliss that you get when you do your work make you blissful and take you closer to the God. So karma phala tyaga is the first thing that you have to do, and whom will you give to karma phala tyaga? When you give tyaga, you have to give somebody. So give that karma phala to whom? To the God. That means when you give naivedya in a temple, and you take naivedya and give it to him, that's it. Once you give naivedya, you don't expect the same thing as a prasada back. And you will take whatever the Purohit gives you back. You will just enjoy it as a divine gift. So, if you give your work as a naivedya to the God, and you accept the result as a prasada, whatever the divinity gives you back, that is called karma phala tyaga. So you are enjoying your duty, or you enjoying your work without expecting the result. That make you karma phala tyagi. So whom are you giving it that? To the God. And he is explaining the definition of God. If you give to him, the result of your work, you will become the best. Who is that him? He explained the definition of the God. That is 46. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. From whom this everything has come from, you please surrender and give that result to him. And yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam, on whom this everything is pervaded, by whom the everything is pervaded, yena sarvamidam tatam, yatah pravrittir bhutanam, from whom the everything has emerged. You give up your result to him and act the best you can and enjoy your work. That way you become a tyagi. That's what he says. And man gets perfect. So here he says is, work is worship. That's the word that he used. Work is worship. So that means when you work as if you are worshipping the God through your work. So that becomes a worship through the worship, you give it that worship to the God. Okay. Then Arjuna got a question in himself. And, okay, I will do work. And what did I told to Lord Krishna in the beginning? I don't like to become Kshatriya for now, because I don't want to fight and kill my enemies. And I want to go to the Himalayas and become Brahmana or Sudra or begging or become Sudra. And I go there, I like that more rather than fighting and killing my kith and kin. So I become Sudra or I become Brahmana. And then doing that, I can directly go to the God. You told, Krishna, you told a Brahmana can directly go to God, Kshatriya can directly go to the God, or Sudra can go to God. So what I do is I don't want to fight here, so I want to escape, and I want to change from Kshatriya to Brahmana, or I go to Sudra, and through that work, I will become a best Brahmana, or I will become a best in begging, or doing some fourth class work, and I can directly go to the God. Why can't I do that? So can I do that? So that's easy, escapism and doing duty. And for that, Lord Krishna is answering the second one. What is that he doing? Next one. Better is one's duty destitute of the merits than the duty of another well-formed. He who does the duty ordained by his own nature incurs no sin. That is 47. Sreyan swadharmo vilaha paradharma svanushtitat svabhava niyatam karma kurvan apnoti kalbhisham. Arjuna, by birth, by your nature, you are Kshatriya. You are saying, I may not able to do a good job as a Kshatriya of killing my oath kin and kin. You are saying you may not do a good job. But you are thinking that you can do a better job begging. But that is not your nature. Begging is not your nature. And becoming a sannyasi is not your nature. Your nature is a Kshatriya to fight. So, and you are thinking that you may not do a good job as a Kshatriya in fighting. That's fine. Even if you don't do a good job, even if you do a less perfect job as a Kshatriya, still it is better. Rather than you think that you are going to do a wonderful job as a Brahmana or as a Sudra, you think. But even if you think that you can do a wonderful job the other side, but if you think that you can do an imperfect job here, still this is better, even though there is some mistakes or if there is some problems in this thing, still this is better because that is your nature. We always think other side of the grass is always green and this side is not, grass is the gray. And that's what this is. Sreyan swadharmo vigunaka paradharma swanushtitat swabhava niyatam karma kurvan apnoti kilbisham. That means even thou, that means by doing your own duty, even if you have to hurt somebody, you won't incur your sin. A surgeon is there, and in doing surgery, something happens, the patient dies, he will not incur the sin. Why? His intention is good. And in police firing, somebody dies, or a soldier kills somebody. But act of killing is not bad. The intent of the act is the bad. So even if there is something bad, you will not incur in the sin if you are doing your destined duty, Arjuna. That's what he is saying. So, swabhava niyatam karma kurvan apnoti kilbisham. If you do your destined duty, you can never incur in the sin. Even you are forced to do some harm to somebody, you will not incur to the sin. And 48, we are going. And say, what you are saying, I am not a perfect Kshatriya, I can't be a perfection. And because how can you think that it's a good job? Here he is saying one proverb that we all, perfection is a myth. That is another thing we have to write on golden letters. Perfection is a myth. There is no such thing as a perfection. Always there is some imperfection in whatever you do. That's what he is trying to counsel Arjuna, thinking, I want to be a perfect Kshatriya, but it looks like I can't be a perfect Kshatriya. So I want to become Brahmana, I want to become a beggar. That's not the right. There is no perfection in this world. Perfection is a myth. Every act, every work you do, it can never be perfect. Always there is time of imperfection. And he gives a perfect example how to understand this. 48. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyajed sarvaramba hi doshena dhumena agniravrita. That means whenever there is a fire is a good thing. And almost every time next to the fire, what is there? Smoke. Smoke is bad. That's what we think. Fire is good. So whenever you do the fire, automatically there will be smoke around. So you cannot separate the smoke from the fire. At the same time, perfection and imperfection is always closer to each other. You can never be perfect. There is always some imperfection. Don't worry. Go ahead and fight. Even if you don't do a good job in fighting, that's fine, because there is no perfection in the world. Go ahead and do, Arjuna. That's what he is counseling Arjuna to do that. Now he's coming to the 49. And asekta bhudis sarvatraha jijitatma vikataspruhaha naishkarvya siddhim paramam sanyase adhigachyati. And when you do the action like this means what? Giving up the result of the action and concentrating on the action. What will happen? Your intellect gets purified. Because your intellect will always concentrate on what? Only on the action. Because briefly your intellect was adulterated, because sometimes you think about the action and sometimes you think about the result. So both the result and the action is always playing a role in your intellect, and that is cluttered, and there is a adulteration is going on in that. So when you eliminate the worry about the result and put the 100% of your intellect on the act and take off all the remaining part of the worry about the result and put your heart and soul into the action that you did it, then then what happens? Then you will put your heart and soul and 100% effort on the act that you do. Then you will become Jitatma. That means you will win your mind. So far, the mind is dominating, thinking about the result and winning over the intellect. And if the intellect dominates, hey mind, don't think about the result. And if you're successful, now the intellect will dominate the mind and the mind will do whatever the intellect will say and continually concentrate on the act that he does without working about the result. Then that means he wins over the mind. The buddhi wins over the mind. The intellect wins over the mind. That has become the jitatma. When the intellect wins over the mind, then he becomes vigataspruha. That means he does not care about the result, what about the outcome. He will enjoy the. Then what happened so far? He had become Tyagi, karma phala tyagi. He renounced the worry about the result. He has not become sannyasi. To become sannyasi, there has to be tyagi first, become sannyasi. There is 2 steps. First is tyaga, second step is sannyasi. So up to this, if you don't worry about the result and do your action perfectly, then you will become tyagi. And for that person, he is now ready to the second step that becomes sannyasi. So, naishkarmya siddhim paramam sannyase nadhigachyati. And when you don't worry about the result and subdue your mind and the desire about the results will flee away from you, and that person will become ready to get sannyasi. And now we will go to the next one, and then Krishna will explain. Now I will explain how a tyagi, that is karma phala tyagi, will attain sannyasi. In next few slokas I am going to explain how a tyagi becomes a sannyasi. Siddhim prapto yadha brahma tadhaproti nibodhame samasena kaunteya nishta gnanasya ya para. I am going to explain in the next few slokas. So we are going to 51. So when you have that pure mind that he already got, he win over the mind, and his intellect is dominating. His mind is doing whatever the intellect says. Mind is not thinking about the results, always concentrating on the act. And if had that purity of mind, when that purity of the mind, and what is the main weak point of an actor? And whenever you do an action, whenever you do an enterprise, and fear of failure is the main one that is bothers a person. Fear of your failure. Oh, that may not happen. What will I do? The result may come. This is the 50% of the time we always talk about this. That will ruin our success because we can't put our 100% effort on the act. So when you have that buddhis become so pure, and then what happens? That fear of failure will give up. I don't care what happens. I am concentrating on the work. So fear of failure will go away. When the fear is gone away, then what will come in? When the fear goes, then you will come dhairya. When bhaya goes out, what comes? You will get dhairya, confidence. When the fear goes out, the confidence gets in, and fear will be replaced by the dareness, and dhairya will get in. When the dhairya comes in, and buddhi is standing right there, what will happen? Then you will control your mind, because one side the confidence, one side is intellect, is tying the mind in the between to let the mind don't go anywhere and worrying about the result. Just concentrate on the work and he will become the perfect actor. And when the mind is controlled in such a way, and how the mind acts through all these five senses. That's all the mind. And when the mind is controlled, and what you are controlling? With one mind control, you are controlling five things out. So 1 in 5. So if you just kind of control with the mind, with the help of buddhi and your dhairya and mind, that mind controls the five senses. For example, shabda, indriya, all these sense objects and the world, and you had perfect control on your sensory control, and just you direct all your effort on the one action that you are kind of like ekagrata buddhi, on the action that you are thinking will be under, and you sabda the indriya, sabda the in vishayamstvaktva, you will leave everything out, and then you don't care about whether the good result comes. And you don't hate something that comes in the middle when you do the work. And you don't love your thing, your result too much. So raga dvesha then will get out. Then that person become so pure with a firmness, with intellect, and what he will find do. That person ready for meditation. When a person attains this, and when you know about these things, and when you go into spirituality, and what he becomes, he likes aloneness. There is a difference between the loneliness and the aloneness. Loneliness is a punishment. Aloneness is a gift. And loneliness means he wants company, but he don't want company. So he feels lonely. And aloneness, I enjoy company. I like company, but I enjoy aloneness. So loneliness is different from aloneness. Such person will like aloneness. Vivikta sevi. He always prefer enjoying intellect or introspection, thinking about things, concentrating on the work. He always enjoys that aloneness. So he can be among the people. At the same time, he can be alone. That's what he thinks. And lagvasi. So when he don't exercise his mind and all those things, what happens? His dietary needs come down. He eats less and less and less. And he enjoys aloneness, and at the same time he eats less. And what happens then? What happens is speech. He speaks very low, very softly, as much that is needed. His chatterbox attitude has gone. He speaks that much that is needed. Very, very precise in his speech, walk, and mind, and his body. What happens is and also he converts that unnecessary speaking. The spiritual person will do direct of worship and chanting a mantra of the God and all this Vishnu Sahasranama or Lalita Sahasranama. He do that gossiping voice, talk, he will divert towards to the God, chanting the mantra. That's what he usually walk. And kaya is a body. And what he does is that person use his body to do some yoga and control his body. See, we have body, but we don't have no control over body. Just if you want to do a Padmasana, or if you want to sit like this for 5 minutes, you can't. Many of us can't. So that means we don't have control of our body. But that person try to control his body, that is kaya. So he do some mantra or japa, and he use some yogasana in the early morning, and manas. And how to calm the mind is to practice a deep breathing. That's what whenever a person is very agitated, the 911 staff comes, and what they will take first, hey, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. That's what they say. That's what is the scientific term. Take a deep breath. Shallow breathing is bad. Deep breathing is good. That's what the way you control the mind is pranayama. Normally, our respiratory rate is around 16 per minute. But when I do pranayama, I can do 2 per minute. That means control your respiration. That's why you can control your mind. So, by liking the aloneness, by eating less, by doing a mantra, and by doing the yoga, and by controlling the mind, by making the pranayama, and by doing all this, he will go into dhyana yoga. What is that? Meditation. He will go into the daily meditation. And when you go and practice like this with a daily meditation and doing the work, then you will start too much attachment to everything. I have to go to that party, and I have to go to this, I have to call this. And you make your life, your day very disciplined. You are always not running all over with this thing. You have priorities. You will discipline your work, and you have some attachment and detachments. You will develop that vairagya. Vivikta sevi lagvasi yatavakaya manasaha dhyana yoga paro nityam vairagyam samupasritaha. So you will get that one. When that person practices every day like this, what will happen? His ahankara, his ego-ness that is there inside will be gone. Because he will start surrendering himself to the God, surrendering himself to the divinity. And balam, that is mother balam, so I am great, that kind of attitude will gradually go down. And darpa will go down. So, you know darpanam. Darpanam means in Sanskrit the mirror. So what does it do? Imagine a person who does not see a mirror in a day, except Swamiji. In ashrams, normally they don't have mirrors. In many ashrams. And what do? As soon as we do the mirror, we do how I am looking. And always thinking about yourself in the mirror. So that is, darpana will develop darpa in you. So that kind of attitude of self-grandiosity will gradually go down. Then your desires will be disciplined. Your desires will be limited. And when your desires are limited, you will win over what? Anger. The physiology of the anger, if you think, any anger, if you are angry, behind the anger, there is a law, there is a rule. There is no exception for this. Whenever there is a anger, that means behind that, there is an unfulfilled desire. It's written on the stone without any exception. Whenever there is an unfulfilled desire, then only the anger comes. So, and then when you give up the desire, you will give up automatically 1 in 2. When you give up the desire and you educate your desire, and if you can streamline your desire, you are streamlining your anger. So, when you streamline your anger and the desire, you will develop, you will give up the attitude of grabbing. I want this. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. That's what the whole life is, whether we really need them or not. That's the reason all these garage sales came out. Big business in the United States, garage sale. Because we grab. My neighbor have it, I will have it. So my neighbor did not have it. Let me have it so he can be envious of me. I see an Indian TV advertisement in the old when I was there. Owner's pride and neighbor's envy, Onida TV. Owner's pride and neighbor's envy. That was the caption on the Onida TV when I was in medical school. So that is the reason. So they want you have to Onida TV for your pride and for your neighbor to be envy of you. So that is the reason you will develop that attitude of grabbing things will go away. Then all these attachments will go away. Then what happens? You become peaceful person. You always stand in yourself. You have your own limitations. You are always in bliss, thinking about your own self. And you are a very self-satisfied and beautiful person. When you attain this stage, then now you are ready to the second stage. What is that second stage? Sannyasa. So Tyaga, from Tyaga all these things formed, now you are ready to become sannyasa. He asked two questions, right? First is Tyaga, what is sannyasa? He is this much difference is there between Tyaga and sannyasa. Tyaga, and now he is ready to be sannyasi. And what is, when a sannyasi, when he becomes sannyasi, how a sannyasi behaves? A sannyasi behaves like God. A sannyasi behaves as if a God behaves. That's all. There is no difference between sannyasi and sannyasi behaves as a God behaves. A doctor behaves as a doctor should behave. An engineer behaves as engineer should behave. So a sannyasi behaves as God behaves. How a God behaves, he is saying that Brahma bhutah prasannatma nasochati nakanchati samag sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. So when you attain that kind of stage, you always have prasanna manasu. That is, always have a serenity, all have a very peaceful mind. And you never grieve, nasochati. You don't crave for things. You don't have over cravings. And you don't have a lot of grief. You understand the reality. And you see everybody that is there around you in the same way. And sama sarveshu bhuteshu. Everybody you see the same way. No enemy, no too much friend. And you treat everybody in the same way. And how you see Madbhaktim labhate param. So you see whom in them? You see myself. You see the divinity in each and everybody by this way. This is how a Lord behaves. So that person behaves in the same way. Then he will come to understand the qualities of the God. Bhaktya mamabhijanati yavanmasyami tatvataha tato mam tatvato gnatva vishate tadanantaram. Then he will understand who is God. What is the definition of the God? The definition of God is Sat Chit Ananda is the definition of the God. So always in bliss. He always is Ananda. And he attains that quality. And what are the other qualities of the God? Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. These are all the qualities of the God. So he sees God in every human being, in every creature, in everything and everywhere in the universe. In the same way, Prahlada showed God in a pillar to his father. So that way this person starts to envision the whole world like this. And that person, okay, a person had come to this stage. So what he will do? He will go and sit in a room or go to Himalayas and do a thing. That is what is the good thing to do. Again, Krishna is saying, oh, no. That's not right. Get to this point. That's fine. That doesn't mean you go to Himalayas and sit it there and then you do the japa. No. You have to be in the society after attaining this stage. Sarva karmanyapi sada kurvano madhyapasrayaha mat prasada davapnoti sasvitam paramavyayam. By attaining the stage, you have to do the every act that you are destined to do, you are supposed to do, which is your dharma. But doing all the times, you surrender those actions to me. And if you do, then what are you doing? You are giving up the kartrutva bhava. And you are not the doer of the action. And you are even dedicating that action also to me. Previously you dedicated only result. Now you are dedicating your action also because you have grown enough. So this is the second stage. First you learned how to give up the result. Now you are giving up even the action itself also to me. Now you learned the second stage. Then you give up the action also to me and doing the work. Then as a gift, as a prasada, I will give you the bliss that you need and which you have been looking for whole your own. What are we looking for in the life? What is our ultimate motto? If I ask all these people one question, what do you need in your life? What are you living for? What are you itching for? You may say, I want to do this and I want to do this and that. But if I poking on the questions again, why? The ultimate answer that I come from all of you without any exception is, I want happiness. That's only one word. That I will give if you do what I tell you to do. What happiness? Not only we want just one happiness. We want to be happy all the time. That's all we want. Okay, I want to give you happiness. How long? An hour? 1 year? Or 10 years? After that is okay if you can make you unhappy? No. I want to be happy all my lifetime. That's what we ask. God asks us. I will give you happiness. How much you want happiness? No, Swami. I want to be happy all my life. So that means you want the happy all the time. That is Satchit Anandam, and that the God is ready to give you if you follow his footsteps. So, because I am doing this, you please dedicate all your karma phala to me. You do all karma to me, thinking only me as a goal. Then buddhi yoga mapasritya machittaha sathambhava. So you thinking that way, you work, give up your result, give up your action to me, and thinking about me, you do all your. But Arjuna, have you listened to me till now? Go and fight. Shoot your arrow. Oh, I don't know if I do my arrow, what I will do, and Karna is ready to kill me, and Duryodhana is ready to kill me. I mean, don't worry. If you surrender your action to me, completely with a confidence on me, and if you do the action, if any problem comes, I will take care of it. That's how God does. If we have a complete belief in it. Suppose, for example, I started this yajna almost April. 20 talks. Anything can happen. I would have a bad health. I could not come to the talk. My host can have a bad day that they cannot hold a talk. Even nature can play against me and it can have a problem and I may not do a talk. But not even a single talk out of these 20 talks have not been postponed even a single time. Because I dedicated all my talks to the God. I don't get nothing out of these talks personally. And whatever I get out of these talks, if anybody donated, I will give it to the Sambodh Society. Nothing get out of it. But I exactly followed what Lord has been doing. Dedicated my action to Him. And dedicated my result to Him. And whatever I am getting, that's whatever the problems that come across, He will take care. A couple of hosts told that they can't host on particular day on 2 days. And people, when I called people, I did not beg people to please host a talk. They themselves called, right in front of right here. And you want to hold the talk. Another person canceled. No, we hold it. We want happy to hold it. Like they invited me to come to their homes. That's what God does. He will take care of any problems comes if you have a perfect faith here. But if you don't have a faith in me, Krishna says to Arjuna, if you want to go away from here and go to beg, you only have to beg. And you will ruin yourself. He says to Arjuna. So, adachetva mahankarat nasoshyati vinamkshyasi. So you will ruin yourself. How? Suppose, imagine Arjuna was there and everybody opponents are right there. If the Arjuna ready to move out and escape, that Karna who has been waiting for since his birth to kill this Arjuna will keep quiet. Will Duryodhana will keep quiet? Everybody will come with their arrows and smash him within a fraction of a second. And then what he will do? He is a Kshatriya. Then he will turn away. At least then he will fight back. That's what Krishna says. Even if you don't do, if you don't listen to my walk, if you listen to my words, and if you go from here, you will be ruined. And even if you think that I don't fight, when such circumstances comes, your nature will make you fight, Arjuna. That was it. That's what happens. He will run away. And he is saying, and there people will chase him down till he ends off the death because they don't want to have another chance. The Kauravas ready to end this Arjuna, who is the stalwart of the whole Pandavas. So he will, and at the end what he has to fight. For at least to safeguard himself. But if he is fighting now, he is fighting for a big cause, for the whole world, for dharma. If he fights at that time, he is fighting just for his own body. So it's better to fight now. Even if you don't fight, the circumstances will prevail you and will make you fight, which is your dharma, and because you are Kshatriya. So, can you listen to me now? Please, Kshatriya is your destined action. So, even if you think by confusion that you don't do it, your nature will make you do that actions. So that's why the nature of a person is very important when you select a profession. That's the reason we are exposed to our kids from 6th grade to 12th grade, and we expose them to different things, so that they can pick up what they are good at and what their real nature is, and then they will excel from there. And he is expecting one more thing. Okay, he is just diverting the topic a little bit. We are doing all the actions. We have a mind, we have a intellect, and we have heart and everything. And who is there inside us who is making us act? Suppose there are different type of toys. One car and one truck, and there are different types of toys. In that, all those automatic toys, they put some key there, the remote control or something. And in that, all these different 100 types of toys, they have only one machine inside. They will put that one machine in each of the toys, in aeroplane or steamer or anything. And when you operate with the same machine that is there inside every object, will make them do the different functions. But the machine, that key machine that is there inside is the same. That will make the things act in a different way according to their nature. But the machine that is there, the small machine that is there, that they put inside that work, that toy, is the same, manufactured by only one company. And these are all the coins by different company. But same thing they put it in. In the same way, the God is there inside us, make us all the actions as if there is a small kind of machine, make all of us act and perform different duties in the same way as the different toys perform the different actions, having one small machine that is there inside, made by one manufacturer. That's what he said. Ishvara sarvabhutanam huddesejjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. He said. And so, having all this, Arjuna, always in your thinking, keep God in your thought process. You will get that peace, and as a gift from me. Lord Krishna almost completed his Bhagavad Gita. So now he is saying, for last 17 chapters, Arjuna, I have been telling you so many things. The best knowledge, the best secret that I have not told to anybody so far. 17 chapters I have been telling you. Now, what normally a guru spent this much time, what is the normal expectation of a guru or a teacher? Is he will expect his student to do what teacher says. That is the normal expectation. But here he says, do whatever you want to do. Did you listen to me? You listen to me and do whatever you want to do. That is left to you. I have done my dharma of telling you what is good. And it is left to you. That's what a parent with a detached notion to their kids will tell. I will tell you what is good. But whatever you do is up to you. If you do, you will flourish. If you don't do, you will perish. That's all up to you. But when you flourish, I am not the happiest person. If you perish, I am not the saddest person. I have done my duty as a father, what I have to do. That's what I exactly tell to my kids. I will tell you what is good. If you don't listen, that's fine. If you listen, that's fine. If you listen, flourish. If you don't listen, perish. But if you perish or cherish, I don't care, because I have my own spiritual journey ahead. So I can't keep on worrying about you night and day. That's what I do. So it says, so why did I tell you all this for 17 chapters to you? The reason he told Arjuna, because he likes the Arjuna the most. That means what? When we like somebody, that means we have some like-mindedness, then only we like somebody. That's what we date. When we date, we look for a person who has some like-mindedness with us. That's why they get married. So that's the reason Arjuna, because Arjuna has some like-mindedness with Lord Krishna, so he can become Lord Krishna, and that is the reason he told Arjuna all these things. If you follow what I told you to do, and if you have devotion to me, and you will become the best in the world. In the same way that we should tell our kids, best in the world. That's it. Now it is coming, the last dialogue of Lord Krishna of the Bhagavad Gita. After this next verse, Lord Krishna does not talk. Last verse of Bhagavad Gita. Last dialogue in the movie of Bhagavad Gita. Very important. At the same time, very confusing. Misunderstood by the many people and criticized by all different religions. This one, very important. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Finish. What you should do, because this is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, the gist of Bhagavad Gita, what a person who studied Bhagavad Gita should follow. Sarva dharman parityajya. How it is misunderstood. Sarva dharman parityajya means leave every dharma. Mamekam saranam vaja. Just come to me and just think about me. Aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami masuchaha. And I will take you out of all your papas and worries, and I will give you moksha, so don't cry. That means the misunderstood point is, the superficial meaning of this, give up all your actions. Sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all your actions, just sit in front of me, doing bhajan every day. That's fine. I will take off all your sins and I will give moksha. That is the superficial meaning of this. It says, hey, your Lord Krishna is making you idle and making you lazy person. That's what the other religions criticize it. But real meaning is not that. Every action has two dharmas that we have talked about. What is the first one? Giving up the result of the action, karma phala tyaga. Second dharma of the action is kartrutva bhava tyaga. So giving up the result of the action is the number one dharma. And second dharma is the giving up the doership of the action is the second dharma. This is called sarva dharma. So by giving sarva dharman parityajya means giving up your action, worries about the action, result of the action, giving up the doership of the action, doing action, and dedicate all your action to me and leave the result, everything to me. If you do that kind of dedication, then you will never incur in any kind of sin, in whatever bad things happened in your life, because I am the responsible. You left everything to me, and that person will get moksha. So, Arjuna, Leave everything to me, Arjuna. Come on, get up. Take your arrow. Take your bow. Shoot at him. Don't worry that you are going to kill to the other person's also. Ma suchaha. Don't worry. Come on, Arjuna. Get up. Fight. That's what he says at the end. Why did Arjuna tell, and this end, Bhagavad Gita end. Some final tips. We can go very quick fast. So we are run out of time.
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
8 minutes.
Okay, 8 minutes. Yeah, it will take just a few 5 or 10 minutes, but it should be okay. We are okay. Now we can go fast. So, why did Krishna tell only to Arjuna this Bhagavad Gita? Why didn't he tell to Duryodhana, or why didn't he tell to Dhritarashtra, not Dhritarashtra, to so many other things, and why didn't he tell to everybody? Why did he tell only to Arjuna? Because Lord Krishna Lord Krishna says, for him who to tell this Bhagavad Gita, other person has to have certain requirements. If you don't have that requirements, you are all not able to come here. Because you are all here, because you have that kind of requirements, otherwise you would have gone out of this place in first 15 minutes. So what are those requirements that one should have to listen to this Bhagavad Gita? And idam te na tapaskaya, na bhaktaya kadachana, na chasu shrushave vachyam, nachamam yobhya suyati. Who does not want to listen, who does not have that craving to listen, don't teach. Who is not a devotee of a God, don't teach. Those who don't want to listen to this at all, put a deaf ear to this kind of thing, I don't teach. And who don't have a service attitude in their mind, I don't teach. So I don't teach. So you heard this right? You also don't teach to such people. He's telling. And then, whom should you teach? Who has a lot of devotion to the God? And who listen to this? And if you teach to that kind of person, and I will tell them how that will help to the person who listened, but the person who teaches this to such people will come to me. That is the only reason why I am doing what I am doing. I want to do this rest of my life. That's what Swamiji made me Acharya on my 60th birthday. And I vowed my thing. This is what I am going to do rest of my life. Why I am doing? For this I am doing. And whoever want to listen, whoever devotees, if you keep on teaching, that person without any doubt, asamsayaha, there is no doubt about it, will come to me. That's what I am doing, what I am doing. So there is nobody who can do a better thing for me than such teacher. In this whole earth, there will not be any better person. Who is better than a person who teaches Bhagavad Gita just by teaching, by practicing and teaching. Just preaching, anybody can preach. Teaching, anybody can teach. At least you should make your wholehearted attempt to practice what is there, what is told in Bhagavad Gita, and then teach it. That will get the better results and the best results. And that's what Lord Krishna says. And if anybody does not teach, that's fine. If anybody who can study this Bhagavad Gita on their own, and that yagna is called as Gnana Yagna. So such persons don't have to go to a temple and offer puja every day. In their living room, if they study this Bhagavad Gita daily and understand it's completely this thing, even that person becomes my devotee through that Gnana Yagna. Even though he does not come to the temple, I am going to be worshipped. That's what he's saying. I can be worshipped best by sitting in your rocker chair and reading my Bhagavad Gita understood. That worship will reach to me in the temple, even though I am million miles different distance from you. But a negative, who don't like me, who has hatred towards me. Say, who does not have a hatred, who have very much interested, and even a person listener, he is talking about the listener, talking about all of you. Even a listener, if you have that interest, because of the interest only you are all here for this one time, and this thing, if you listen to this, and they will also gradually attain, their journey will start, and finally they will reach the eternal abode. As a kid, I started to listening like this, and gradually things went up, and then it will reach. And now finally, the Krishna is putting a hand on the shoulder of Arjuna with a very affectionate pat on the back. Arjuna, I have been telling this almost for 18 chapters. Are you sure? Have you listened carefully what I have told you? See how affectionately the Krishna is Arjuna asking. Hey, did you listen to me or not? This is exactly words that are there in this sloka. I am not deviating nothing. I am just exactly telling the Krishna's words. Arjuna, now I told you so many things. Have you listened to me with single pointedness? Arjuna, have you listened to me? Are you with me, Arjuna? Are you with me? And then, Arjuna, you are so much confused in the second chapter. You don't know what you are doing. You don't know what you are thinking. You are completely wrong-rooted, Arjuna. I told you 18 chapters, put my heart and soul into Arjuna. All your confusion has gone now, right? All your confusion has gone, right? It was exactly the words that she is choosing. Kachideta chutam partha tvayaike grana chetasa kachidagna sammohaha pranastaste dhananjaya. He was exactly asking how affectionately he is asking Arjuna and the welfare of the Arjuna. Now the Arjuna's last dialogue is coming in Bhagavad Gita. Finish. Arjuna is talking, one last one. The conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is ready now. Arjuna's final statement. Achyuta! That's what the word you used. Achyuta. Achyuta. My delusion has completely gone. all my doubts have been cleared. This is the exactly words of Arjuna. I am not deleting or adding or putting some masala into it. No, exact words of Arjuna. My delusion has gone. All my doubts have been cleared. As your prasada, I got all this wisdom from you. Now, with this wisdom, without a doubt, I will do whatever you want me to do. I will get up and fight and show you and I will fight. You will take the outcome of it. And Arjuna told, and this is the last word of Arjuna. So first, Krishna disappeared from the stage. Now, next Arjuna has got back off to the stage. Now one person is getting off. Now this Sanjaya. Now he has to go off. And who is Sanjaya? We don't know so far. He is the one who got a vision, a special vision, a remote vision, seeing in the palace in front of Dhritarashtra, and seeing all this happening in this thing, and he is saying, and he is telling to the God, I heard this beautiful dialogue between the Arjuna and Krishna, and after hearing that, Roma Harshanam, I get goosebumps on my skin. Oh my God, what a beautiful dialogues that I have heard. And he did not leave it to that. And whatever action we do, we have to have a vote of thanks at the end, right? For everything we have a vote of thanks. He is telling the vote of thanks. See how nicely the Bhagavad Gita is organized. He is telling the vote of thanks now in this verse. The Vyasa gave the power of the remote vision to Sanjaya to see the war right from his palace, whatever happening, and explain to the Dhritarashtra. And his job is to explain the war to the Dhritarashtra. But he is so lucky, he is able to see everything that was happening. Right, the direct Lord Krishna, he is explaining the whole thing to the Arjuna. He is after a charioteer, the Sanjaya. He does not deserve for all this. He did not work for all this. Even though, because of the Vyasa gave that special vision to him, as a reporter to Dhritarashtra, he could enjoy the whole Bhagavad Gita. I am thankful to Vyasa for this. And not only that, and whenever I keep on remembering again and again, Samskritya, that discussion between them, I fill with joy and bliss. I can never forget. I am very, very, very grateful to Vyasa for giving this vision. And not only that, in Vishwarupa Sandarsana, that's 12th chapter, right? 11th chapter. Vishwarupa Sandarsana. Lord Krishna has not shown to anybody so far, Dhritarashtra. You also could not see it. You are a king of mine. You also did not see it. Because of that Divya Drishti that was given by Vyasa, even though I am not fit for seeing it, because I did not do any kind of karma, any kind of practice, I am not a seeker like Arjuna or anybody, I am not fit for that. And because of Vyasa gave it to me, I could see his Vishwarupa, which he has not shown to anybody so far. And I am so lucky. So I am very, very happy and blissful. And after explaining this, he is telling one final statement about Lord Krishna and Arjuna. That's the last of the Bhagavad Gita. Sorry if I take a couple of minutes. One more minute. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Pardo Dhanuddaraha, Tatra Sri Vajayo Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Finish. Last one. Wherever there is Lord Krishna and Arjuna are together, there is success and there is prosperity and there is morality and there is a development will be there. That is my thing. What a great example I am going to tell you. I consider Lord Swami Bodhananda as Krishna. I consider myself as Arjuna. When we started this Gita Mahayagna on the first day, in last December, some are here, he dictated to me, oh, you are doing it, and call everybody and organize in your home and do it, this thing. That was a terrible snow. And nothing in the home, electricity was not working properly in my home because of this thing and that thing. And Swami has to go by 2 o'clock and it was going late and it was a big thing. I told Swamiji, I can't do it. I gave up. Nobody is going to come. You want me to do it, and I never thought that I can do it, and you instructed me to do it, and did it. And he gave me a Gita Bodha. No, Anil, you are doing it, you will do it, this is my order, this will happen, it is going to happen. And some of you people still showed up, and Swamiji started it, and make me go, and we are in success now. And that's what happened. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Pardo Dhanuddaraha, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. There such will the success will happen. How do we apply this to each of everybody? Our intellect, our buddhi is equal to Lord Krishna. And who is Arjuna? Our mind is equal to Arjuna. When our intellect and when our mind, one goes this way and one goes this way, that has been happening in the second chapter. He is saying one thing, he is saying. By the end what happened? The buddhi and the mind both aligned each other. And there, in the same way, if we align our intellect and our mind align each other, there it will start your morality, your prosperity, your success and your development will happen, and that will be the end of the success. And this concludes the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And then
Sorry, would you like to take some questions at this time?
just one more minute.
Sure.
This is continuation of the Bhagavad Gita. And after that, I want to tell you a Gita Mahatya. After everybody, if somebody study this Gita Mahatya very regularly, they will see a Mahatya. It's called Gita Mahatya.
Mahatmya.
Gita Mahatya. And Sankaracharya wrote this, and Pradeep will read that in a few minutes. But I will tell you an actual Mahatya that happened to me at the conclusion of this. It's a miracle. Mahatya means miracle in English. How miracles happen when you do this. Somebody, a TV channel, which is there in the United States, found out that I have been doing this home talks of Bhagavad Gita. They contacted me. Sir, we heard your talks in doing homes. We want to bring those talks to millions of the homes in the United States. please come to on this Tuesday. I am flying to New Jersey to meet that channel. We are going to do a pilot program about your talks, and we will make sure that your talks will reach the millions of the homes in the United States. Please come and talk to me. This is what actual miracles can happen if you wholeheartedly study, practice, and teach Bhagavad Gita. This is the live miracle that happened, which I wanted to share to you. So now I can take. You want to take me? Is okay? Lunchtime is okay? And so how long it will take?
2-3 minutes.
2-5. Yeah. And after that we have 3-4 minutes to conclude. And shall I take questions now or after this?
No, do it. Do it now.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, I am ready to take the questions.
Anybody can ask a question. Do you have any doubt or need for clarity?
So there was a mention about deep breathing.
Deep breathing.
Yeah, how does that relate to the overall?
Yeah. Breathing is directly related to the mind. That is scientifically proven. And that is the reason whenever they say, whenever there is a difference between a shallow breathing and the deep breathing. Because mind always knew recently a need of oxygen, very, very oxygen. And in our thing, what happens is, lungs is a scientific. When the air goes, and we don't keep that air inside the lungs enough time to transmit the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, very this thing. And when we take deep breath, and hold it, and fill the lungs completely, there is a lot of air inside the lungs, and because of the pressure, the gaseous exchange will take place very perfectly. The more oxygen goes. The more oxygen going to the blood, more oxygen going to the brain. More oxygen goes into the brain, more relaxation you get. And that is the basic scientific fact about this, what you call pranayama. What is pranayama? Normally we breathe around 12 to 14 breaths per minute. But you can do just 2 breaths per minute. 2 breaths per, if you want I can demonstrate to you. How to do a 2 breaths per minute. How you take it? You take a deep breath and hold it. Don't breathe out. Just keep it inside. Lot of air, lot of pressure inside your lung. The pressure will make you the gases exchange. Hold it as long as you can. Then don't do that. Gradually, then get it out. Take as much time as far, empty it out as much as you can. Still there is some dead space we call. Still there is some air, but get the air as much out as you can. And get out, you can't stay long, just stay as much as you can before you take the next breath. Take breath again. Like that, you can decrease your 12 breaths per minute to 2 breaths per minute. Then you feel fresh after that pranayama. If you do every day, I do 10 minutes every day. If you do the 10 minutes, you see that freshness. That freshness will have very positive effect throughout your day.
So basically, once our mind is in peace, then buddhi and man that we were talking, they are in one harmony.
Yeah.
That's the whole.
Yeah. That mind, then mind will get peaceful. When you get mind is peaceful because there is no not wavering of the thoughts. When there are thoughts, then it will become calm and it will listen to buddhi.
Okay.
It will listen to buddhi.
So to buddhi.
Because this is not like this.
Right.
It's like this. Then, oh, this is the right time for the mind, mind is right appropriate. Let me act on it.
Things are
Then
more clear.
More clear. and will intellect. Then the Krishna and Arjuna alignment, Buddhi and Manas alignment will start. Then we will start fresh.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So the theme overall, what I got from today's talk, is to Krishna says, don't think of the fruit of your karma.
Uh-huh.
And second was, devote your karmas to me.
Beautiful. You nailed it down. The whole Gita, if you want to turn one sentence, you told that. So my visit here is completely fulfilled. Good.
So that's
Yeah.
just the two things.
That's it.
So we don't let ourselves disturbed by others' action, but we focus on our action and we think of
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. And the known fact, but we can never give up, is one thing. You only can control yourself.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. You can never, ever, no way, in whatever way you try, you cannot control others. Of course, it is there. You cannot control others.
But that's the difficult part, to ignore others' action.
Not ignore. No, ignorance is also not right. Krishna did not ignore when Krishna did. Krishna did what he did his duty. Krishna told everything. Why he told, if you really love another person, if you don't love other person, if you are a neutral person, don't tell, leave him alone and let him have
Ignore
it.
in the sense that don't let yourself disturbed by others' action. So you can focus in your own action.
Yeah, you don't get disturbed, but you have to do your
That's
duty.
also in the second
And Arjuna, Krishna did not get disturbed because of the Arjuna's action and Arjuna's this thing. He maintained his center, but he did what he was supposed to do. And doctor, when patient is panicked, doctor should not get disturbed. He has to maintain his silence and do his CPR and all that he is supposed to do. And advanced cardiac training, ACLS and everything, he has to do it. If he get disturbed, whole purpose is gone. So that is nothing but the practice of the Gita. I hope I got it.
In reality, it becomes, you have to have a very, that kind of vision. So in reality, in everyday life, somebody does mean thing to you, and you have to still stay balanced.
And
Exactly. That's
that
the
is-
second
that
thing.
is,
Sita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhi.
That's
See, what I am saying is, I can tell these things two ways. Number one, if somebody says a bad thing, if you are not a spiritual traveler, if you are not a spiritual traveler, you are not a seeker, you will suffer. But if you are a spiritual seeker, that is the best opportunity for you to see how do you react to it.
To practice.
Will I do the same way as everybody does? Or will I take that thing as differently than others because I am a spiritual seeker? How can I apply the spirituality into this? And somebody say, son of a donkey. A father scolds a son, hey, son of a donkey. And what son should do? Laugh at him. You should not get angry. And if you read the reality, you understand, if somebody says, did I really am like that? Okay. Maybe just introspection. Okay, she said this, I am like this. Am I really like this? Let me introspect. Okay, if I am like this, let me make a change. Thanks for her to bring that point into me and help me to change. And she is a Krishna role in this life. And introspect. Okay, there's no way I am this thing. But her opinion, I can't control it. And that's the reason there are two ways to act. Number one is act, and number two is the react. Action and the reaction and the proaction is different. Action is what you are supposed to do at that particular moment. Reaction means is tit for tat.
Action is a thoughtful.
Action is a thoughtful. Reaction is a reflex.
Instant.
It's a reflex. Knee jerk. When you hit the knee, it will go like this. That's it. That's a knee jerk. That's what we call it as a knee jerk reaction. But that will hurt you. In the spiritual life, you should never react, but you should act.
Good. Let's see if there are other questions from anybody here, any of the other guests.
I have a question here for
Yeah.
you. That as you told that there were 4 different groups were divided by God, Brahman, Vaishya, Shudra, and Kshatriya.
Uh-huh.
Was it divided by God? Was it divided by the social people?
Beautiful. Lord gave that answer to that question. They are divided by their nature.
Okay.
They are guna karma vibhagaha. They are divided by their nature. Where that nature came from? Their nature came from their vasanas. I hope you know vasanas, right? Vasana that came from when we die, that Sushma Sarira, all that vasanas will carry and join another Sarira. That nature comes from the vasanas. So nobody gives to you. Your vasanas, your nature only will make you what you are, whether you are a Kshatriya, not by the caste or not by the family in which you are born or anything.
You're right. I think the explanation to that is a little more succinct in Lord Krishna's wording. It's your own actions that will make you what you are.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, a single person, an individual, can be Brahman at one point in time and Kshatriya or Vaishya at another point in time. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
but you are right. But mainly, see, my main profession is a physician. But sometimes I will act a handyman in the work. I can a handyman in the work. And I can go a driver, this thing. But I can do all those things. But we have one major thing, which is your distinct profession or this thing. That's what we are talking about. But in everybody, all 4 are there. In everybody, all 4 are there. But mainly you are only one. That's what he means. But everybody, all sattva, rajas, tama, all are there in everybody. That's why morning we are sattva, and afternoon we are rajas, and the night we are tamas.
Good. Thank you.
Another question I was wondering, you were saying, as you already answered the questions, that Lord said, just devote yourself to me. Whatever you do is me. Whatever you do is me. I'll give you results. But as in the world, we see all the time people are suffering with pain. People have so many problems, whatnot. Some people are happy. It always makes me wonder, if everything is done by God, all the actions which we perform, what we say, what we do is all controlled by God. Why someone is suffering, one is happy?
Yeah.
Why is that?
That's very, very good question and a very common question, and that required answer. See, God does not do anything. Who is God? God is an Atma Sakshi. Like he put an example, like what? Like that small machine that is there in every different toys, and different toys will do the different functions because of the toy. He is called as Atma Sakshi. But you do your buddhi, your manas will do the karma. But when you do that karma, you don't do that action of that doingness. Then you dedicate that action to the God that is there inside you. That's what God says.
No,
That means you are saying, even though I am doing this karma, I am giving the doership to you, and I am making you as the doer of this action. God is Atma Sakshi. He is just a observer. He is not responsible for your suffering. He is not responsible for your prosperity. It is all because of the karmas that you do bring all those things. That's what one time he says, even if for a person who Chandala and who is a Brahmana and everybody is same to me, I don't have any special affection on one person, I don't have any hatred on the other person. He said that in the Bhagavad Gita. And then the second question comes, why people, some suffer and some this thing? See, everything in a nature, everything is a circle, and everything should happen as is supposed to happen. Suppose in this thing there should be a creation, there will be a maintenance, and there will be a death, and there is a sorrow, and everything is a distinct that is there. And that means if somebody is suffering, that doesn't mean they are really suffering. Suppose, for example, this what is that Swami Upadesasara Swamiji. No. There is a Swamiji in the Upadesasara. Okay. What he told is he got a cancer. That got cancer.
Oh, you mean Ramana Maharshi?
Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi got a cancer.
Sarcoma.
And people surprised. Swami, you are a Maharshi and you got a cancer. How can we understand this? And he told, my past karma I did, and I am left with this, and I am doing this. I am happy that I am having this, because once I suffer, that I have to suffer because of something I did in the past, my account will be cleared. So once my account will be cleared, then I will be relieved. I am happy that I have this, because with this I am getting my account cleared. So if somebody who has that understanding will know that he is not really suffering, he enjoys his suffering. But who does not have that kind of knowledge, that wisdom, thinks that he is suffering, and all his devotees cannot think as Ramana Maharshi is thinking. For them it is suffering, for him he is just clearing his debt. See, suffering is the same, but his outlook and thought process is different, and their outlook and thought process is different. So whatever suffering that have, it is only in our thinking. But if we can reform your thinking, that there will not be suffering. Suffering is only in mind. Suppose, for example, I am a doctor, I ask the patient, you have a pain, right? What is your pain scale? Same pain, one person say, I have a 10 out of 10 pain. Same pain, if I other ask this thing, what is your pain? Maybe 2 out of 10. Why is the difference? His pain tolerance level is different. His pain tolerance level is different. And somebody, you are saying, I have a little pain but does not bother me. I don't want any medications and don't give me any tablets. I think I can handle it like this. Pain is same, but interpretation are different. I hope I got it. Yeah.
Still some confusion, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's a very intense.
That's very intense.
Yeah.
It's a very
Yeah, we have to go in depth. We have to go. This is just a superficial. I could because of the time.
You have to study the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita for that in details. There will be some answers to it. It will never satisfy you, but
That's
it will give you a pointer in the right direction.
Okay, are we done? Or anybody?
Okay. You have something to say?
Okay, yeah. The Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Hindu religious philosophy. And the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Every verse in the last chapter, in the 18th chapter, is in some way connected to one or more of the verses in the previous chapters. Let me just give you two examples very quickly. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vishya, Shudrana, and Parantapa. These four classes of people in the human society are described in the 21st verse of the 4th chapter. Chaturvarnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. See, that's the beauty of the, that's one thing. The other thing is, the 47th verse in the 18th chapter and the 35th verse of the 3rd chapter have the first line identical. Exactly the same line is repeated in the 47th verse of the 18th chapter, which appears in the 35th verse of the 3rd chapter. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swadustika. In the 3rd chapter, the second line is Swadharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. You see how important it is. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swadustika. An imperfect performance of one's own duty is more creditable than the perfect performance of somebody else's duty. Death in the performance of one's own duty is preferable because performance of someone else's duty is fraught with fear. You know, this is exactly what Acharya Anil Prasad was explaining to us. The performance of one's own duty under the given circumstances. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, even if your current status of moha prevents you from performance of your duty, your innate nature will eventually force you to perform your duty. That is how important is our innate nature. And Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are our innate natures. It turns out that we go through various different stages of this nature at various times, sometimes in a single day, sometimes in our lifetime. Anyways, the Bhagavad Gita therefore is a very, very, very important aspect of our daily life and our religion, and its importance is given in a dialogue form. You see, Bhagavad Gita itself is dialogue, and the importance of the Bhagavad Gita, the glory of the Bhagavad Gita is presented as a dialogue between Goddess Earth and Lord Vishnu. Earth is also considered to be a manifestation of the wife of Lord Vishnu. Okay, Dhara is the another name of Earth or Prithvi, and she is his wife, and she asks him a question, and the answer to the question is the glory of the Bhagavad Gita that Lord Vishnu tells Goddess Earth, and it is so beautiful. This is part of the Varaha Puran. It is a part of that Puran, and recite it. And even if you understand a few words of Sanskrit, you will see that the good Lord says that if you recite the entire Bhagavad Gita, you get a certain amount of fruit. If you recite only one chapter, you get something. If you recite only half a chapter, you get something. You recite only quarter of a chapter, you get one thing. Even if you recite half a line, you get certain good fruit out of it. And therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be not only be recited as much as possible, you should also recite the Mahatmya, the glory of the Bhagavad Gita along with it. So now that we conclude the Bhagavad Gita Parayan here, we will recite the Gita Mahatmya, the glory of the Bhagavad Gita. Gita Mahatmyam Dharovacha Bhagavan Parmeshana Bhakti Vyabhicharini Prarabdham Bhujyamanasya Katham Bhavati He Prabho Shri Vishnu Ruvacha Prarabdham Bhujyamano Hi Gita Bhasratas Sada Samuktasya Sukhi Loke Karmana Nopalipyate Mahapapadi Papani Gita Dhyanam Karoti Chet क्वचित् स्पर्शं न कुर्वन्ति नलिनी दलमम्बुवत् गीतायाः पुस्तकं यत्र यत्र पाठः प्रवर्तते तत्र सर्वाणि तीर्थानि प्रयागादीनि तत्र वै सर्वे देवाश्च ऋषयो योगिनः पन्नगाश्च ये गोपालासे गोपिका वापि नारदोद्धव पार्षदैः सहायो जायते शीघ्रं यत्र गीता प्रवर्तते यत्र गीता विचारश्च पठनं पाठनं श्रुतं तत्राहं निश्चितं पृथ्वीं निवसामि सदैव हि गीताश्रयेऽहं तिष्ठामि गीता मे चोत्तमं गृहं गीताज्ञानुपाश्रित्य त्रैलोकान् पालयाम्यहं गीता मे परमा विद्या ब्रह्मरूपा न संशयः अर्धमात्राक्षरा नित्या स्वादिर्वाच्य पदात्मिका चिदानंदेन कृष्णेन प्रोक्ता स्वमुक्तोऽर्जुन वेदत्रयी परानंदा तत्त्वार्थ ज्ञान संयुता योष्टादश जपे नित्यं नरो निश्चल मानसा ज्ञान सिद्धिं सलभते ततो याति परं पदम् पाठे समर्थः सम्पूर्णे तदोर्थं पाठमाचरेत् तदा गोदानजं पुण्यं लभते नात्र संशयः त्रिभागं पठमानस्तु गंगास्नानं फलं लभेत् षडंशं जपमानस्तु सोमयागफलं लभेत् एकाध्यायं तु यो नित्यं पठते भक्ति संयुतः रुद्रलोकमवाप्नोति गणो भूत्वा वसेच्चिरम् अध्यायं श्लोकपादं वा नित्यं वः पठते नरः स याति नरतां यावन्मन्वन्तरं वसुन्धरे गीताया श्लोकदशकं सप्त पञ्चचतुष्टयं द्वौ त्रिनेकं तदर्थं वा श्लोकानां यः पठे नरः चंद्रलोकमवाप्नोति वर्षाणामयुतं ध्रुवं गीतापाठसमायुक्तो मृतो मानुषतां व्रजेत् गीताभ्यासमुदं कृत्वा लभते मुक्तिमुत्तमं गीतेत्युच्चार संयुक्तो म्रियमाणो गतिं लभेत् गीतार्थश्रवणासक्तो महापापयुतोऽपि वा वैकुण्ठं समवाप्नोति विष्णुना सह मोदते गीतार्थं ध्यायते नित्यं कृत्वा कर्माणि भूरिशः जीवन्मुक्तः स विज्ञेयो देहान्ते परमं पदं गीतामाश्रित्य बहवो भूभुजो जनकादयः निर्धूतकल्मषालोके गीतायाः परं पदं गीतायाः पठनं कृत्वा महात्म्यं नैव यः पठेत् वृथा पाठो भवेत् तस्य श्रम एव क्षुधार्तः एतन्माहात्म्य संयुक्तं गीताभ्यास करोति यः स तत्फलमवाप्नोति दुर्लभां गतिमाप्नुयात् सूत उवाच महात्म्यमेतद्गीतायाः मया प्रोक्तं सनातनं गीतान्ते च पठेद्यस्तु यदुक्तं तत्फलं लभेत् इति श्री वाराह पुराणे श्री गीता महात्म्यं सम्पूर्णम्.
Thank you very much. And before we move to the Gita thing, I would like to have one small announcement. With this, we have completed our Gita Mahayagna of 2019 talks, which we started in April. And as a conclusion ceremony, we are going to have a conclusion ceremony in Sambhog in presence of Swami Bodhananda Saraswati. We are going to do in two parts. Number one, on Gita Jayanti day, that is 30th of this month, we are going to have a Gita Sri Krishna Archana and